considering the number of applicants that you get for visas in Pakistan, why are they being sent to the UAE? Why can't they be processed here?
It still makes more sense for us to send a lot to, I mean, you know, yes, you're right, there are a lot of visa applications in Pakistan, but we looked at our business model and concluded that it made sense to send them to the UAE. And initially that did cause problems and delays, but as I say now, we're meeting our targets, and unless there are sort of problems that require more work on the application, documents not being submitted, applications are being dealt with within 15 days.
You mentioned students in your answer. So, see, we've recently seen that trend is shifting now. People are preferring Canada. Students from Pakistan are now preferring Canada and Australia as destinations for education. Has the trend shifted? Have you noticed it? Has the number decreased?
I believe we've still got, the figures vary depending on how you count it, 30 to 35,000 Pakistani students studying in the UK. So I've not seen how that compares, but that's still a very, very healthy number of people who want to study in the UK, who know they can get a quality education there. I think it's also healthy if Pakistani students are looking more generally across the globe, and I think that probably reflects a greater exchange more generally, where students are looking for which course where.
So, Excellency, how do you determine the visa fee? Because the fee for the UK visa is probably the highest as compared to any other country.
Well, we still think it's comparable with many other countries, and it's based on what people are prepared to pay to come to the UK. It still doesn't actually completely cover the costs of our operation and of issuing visas, so UK taxpayers are still subsidising this.
So should we be expecting that to further increase?
With the age of austerity,
if you want to withdraw the subsidy, yes. But
I wouldn't expect necessarily at the moment a further increase, but clearly one of the things that we do is keep this under review, and you know, all governments at the moment are looking, particularly taxpayers look particularly hard at where you spend your money.
So and in Pakistan we have a culture of personal requests. Like, do you get any requests for people for visas applications?
A lot of people ask me, and I always have to say exactly the same to them, which is I have no influence over the process. I can explain to you what it is.
So maybe after this interview, requests will decrease. Requests will decrease.
Well, as I'm learning to say here, inshallah. No, actually, I'm very happy to talk to Pakistani friends or contacts about how they should go about applying or putting them in touch with our staff. But as I say, I have no power to affect the application. So usually my advice to them is apply early. Make sure you include all the supporting documents, and you know, give yourself enough time.
If someone feels that their application has been rejected wrongly, what do they do? Is there like an appeal process which they go through?
There is an appeal process which is usually explained when they get the response, and you know, obviously what I have to say to them is I cannot discuss any individual cases. You know, they must
there is a mechanism.
There is a mechanism for them.
So let's talk about the Olympics. London is hosting the Olympics, the Paralympics this year. So the whole country must be in a frenzy. Will we be feeling that spirit here in Pakistan?
Well, I very much hope so, and I think actually we've been quite heartened. We've been doing some work with the Olympic Association, the Paralympic Association. We've had some events at the High Commission. We've been drawing attention to it, and I think it's true to say that if cricket were an Olympic sport, I think the frenzy in Pakistan would be higher. But I think what the Olympics symbolises, which is about you know, joining the world, coming together, it's about excellence, team spirit, does seem to resonate with people in Pakistan. And I understand that you know you have a very good hockey team, which is expected to do very well.
Do you have any events planned up? Because the Olympics are yet to start. You've had a few events in the past, as you've said.
We have.
For the future, when they actually start?
Well, we've been doing some counting down. We did a year out, and then 6 months to go, and then 100 days to go. And we're almost coming up to 100 days to go to the Paralympics. So we are planning some more things just to keep drawing attention to it.
So because people in Lahore complain that everything happens in Islamabad and not in Lahore. So
well, I think partly that's simply because we're based in Islamabad. We are looking at increasing our staffing here to reflect the importance of Lahore and the Punjab. And at the moment we've increased our trade presence and our development presence. So
okay, let's move on to bilateral relations. Is it true that Pakistan is the largest recipient of international aid from the UK?
I think it isn't yet, but it could be. The plans over the next 3 to 4 years would take it to be the biggest recipient.
How much money is the UK spending annually in Pakistan at the moment?
I haven't got the annual figures. What I could tell you is I think by 2015 it'll be 465 million a year. I think it totals, if you add it up, the projected plans, it will be over 600 million.
So what sectors would you be focusing on?
Focusing
how
very
do
much.
you identify the sectors to focus in actually in the first place?
Well, it's partly, we've been very active in Pakistan for a very long time. The development community work very closely with civil society, with government at all levels. We've concluded that an area that we particularly want to focus on is education. That's partly because we think there's an education crisis in Pakistan. The numbers with your growing population, by 2020, you will have more people under the age of 25 than we have population in the UK.
In the entire population of the...
Entire population of the UK, I think it's about 68 million. And at the moment, less than 60% complete education. So you've got a huge resource, but also we feel part of the challenge of educating them, creating jobs, getting the economy going, it's so crucial that they get a good education. And in our discussions with federal governments, provincial governments, ordinary people, what they tell us they want is education. Now that doesn't mean we don't do other work as well. We do some work on governance, we have an economic team, some work around health and poverty programs.
But how do you disperse this aid? Is it through the federal government, or do you give directly to the provincial governments, or do you do it through your own organizations?
It's a mix, working with the right partners. So we do have some programs that we're talking about with the provincial government of Punjab, who are also doing quite a lot on education. We work with NGOs, do a lot of work with the sort of federal ministries on economics, governance issues. So it's a case of sort of working where appropriate, where we think we can have most impact.
Because Pakistanis feel that aid has certain conditionalities attached to it, which is sort of a challenge to their sovereignty. There's a lot of debate going on this these days. So with the aid that the UK gives, what conditions do you attach?
Well, the conditions we attach are ones that you might expect because it's taxpayers' money. So they tend to be around transparency, good governance of programs, making sure that the money goes for the things that we're expecting it to go, that there's a rigorous program of measuring the impact, because in the age of austerity, taxpayers look at the money that we spend on overseas development and they'll say, well, why are you spending this? We need hospitals, we need money on schools. So the sort of conditionality that we have, more generally, we want to work with governments that abide by their sort of international obligations, by human rights obligations, but we don't have any more sort of explicit political conditionality.
No, but so which provinces currently in Pakistan are you working in? All over Pakistan, or are you focusing on certain areas?
We have a very big program in Punjab. We have a big one in KPK that we're still in the early stages. We work in Sindh. Don't think we have good contacts elsewhere, but I'm not sure that we have. Those are our major programs.
So Pakistanis also feel that the UK always toes the line of the United States, and Pakistan-UK relations are sort of dependent on Pakistan-US relationship.
Well, I'm not sure that that's true. I think what might have been, but one of the things that I've been very heartened with since I arrived was that people genuinely, I do recognise the UK as being distinct. Clearly, we are friends with Pakistan and the US. We have a very close relationship with the US, but our relationship with Pakistan sort of stands on its own merits. We have been we say it's an enduring partnership, an unbreakable partnership. We have over 1 million sort of British Pakistanis in Britain. There are 1.4 million journeys between our two countries. Our ties go back, well, depending on how far back, before Pakistan was an independent country. So I think we have a very different relationship.